Hello students, welcome to Ekam Academy. In this video, I'll talk about an important agreement that is under discussion on the forum of the World Trade Organization. So in this video, we'll talk about certain dimensions related to what is India, its stand on the IFA. IFA stands for Investment Facilitation Agreement. Very important, Investment Facilitation Agreement. So there are certain countries that are discussing about this investment facilitation agreement on the platform of WTO. So this is with reference to an article in the editorial today, that is the 8th of April 2023. I am discussing this particular article, very important from the prelims as well as mains perspective. Okay, now what is this investment facilitation agreement? Try to understand. It is a agreement which is under discussion, that is backed by around 100 countries, and very important from the prelims perspective that it does not include India. India is not part of this investment facilitation agreement, right? What is the aim? It is aimed at creating legally binding provisions aimed at facilitating investment flows. Whatever the investment flows across the world happens, they are trying to bring an agreement that will be legally binding on the member countries, right? The legal binding obligations inter alia will require states to augment the regulatory transparency and predictability of the investment measures. It means that the countries that will be signatory to this particular agreement, there will be an obligation on that country to create regulatory transparency. Basically, acts and other laws have to be passed in the parliament of those countries where investors will get certain protections. Okay, so this agreement will be very different from the investment protection agreement such as the BITs. As you know, in 2016 India overhauled its basically all the bilateral investment treaties. In the sense, we cancelled all the bilateral investment treaties. It is said that India cancelled around 66 bilateral investment treaties that it had before with various countries, and freshly more than 86 bilateral investment treaties were signed based on the new model. Okay, so now what it says is it is very different from the investment protection. See, try to understand. Protecting the interest of the investor is a very big responsibility of the country where the investments are coming in, because if the investor's interest is not protected, they will not invest in our country, and if the investments don't come, the growth prospects of our country will be minimized. So as investments play a very critical role in the growth prospects of a country, creating an investor friendly atmosphere, very important. Investor friendly atmosphere is very important provision for the investors to get motivated to invest money into any country, right? So it says that it is very different from the investment protection agreement such as the bilateral investment treaties that allow foreign investors to bring claims against the host state for alleged treaty breaches. So whenever there are certain treaty breaches as per the BITs that are signed, they can always go for a legal recourse. This is what is the article about, right? A word about the World Trade Organization. As we all know, World Trade Organization, the WTO, one of the successors of GATT, it came into being in 1995, the World Trade Organization, and India is one of the founding members of the World Trade Organization. Presently it has 164 member countries, right? It is an intergovernmental, please underline the word intergovernmental from the prelims perspective, that regulates and facilitates international trade. Try to understand very importantly this word trade. See, this word is very important from this article, because in the coming slides you will understand why I am circling this word trade. It is an intergovernmental organization that regulates and facilitates international trade, right? With effective cooperation in the United Nations system. See, the United Nations system is basically all its United Nations specialized agencies, the funds and programs, and the important agencies of the United Nations are collectively referred to as the United Nations systems, right? use the organization to establish, revise and enforce the rule that govern the international trade. So whenever any UN body is dealing with any issue related to world trade, they generally fall back to the rules governing provisions of the WTO. This is very important that we must understand, right? Now, why is India? See, I spoke about this investment facilitation agreement, right? Now, when I told that more than 100 countries are talking about this, however, one should understand that India is not a party to this agreement. In the sense, India is not even participating in the discussions related to IFA. What is the reason? There are two primary reasons. One, India strongly feels that investment does not belong to the WTO. It means with respect to the what you call organization, India feels that the WTO is responsible for trade only. The investment, designing the course of investment amongst the countries or in the world at large, is not the responsibility of the WTO. It says that to the extent investment is related to trade, it is already included in the trade related investment measures agreement and under the mode 3 related to FDI in the GATS. So that is what it says, that as regards investment that is related to trade only in a country, the provisions related to that are already in place as part of TRIMS and as part of mode 3 of the GATS. So there is no special requirement to have a separate investment agreement. This is what India feels. This is the first stand of India for opposing or not being part of the discussions of the IFA. The second is the plurilateral route of negotiation. Now, as you all know, one of the basic principles of WTO is that it is a consensus based organization. It means that all the 164 member countries should have been part of this discussion. Even if a single country is not part of the discussion, those discussions should not be held or continued. This is the stand of India. It says that because one of the governing principles of the WTO is the consensus based what you call discussions. It means all the member countries should have been part of it. Any decision to be taken, any agreement to be moved upon for discussion should have the blessing of all the 164 countries. But in the case of this IFA, only 100 countries are discussing. And one more point which is not written on the screen here is, try to understand that India is saying there are lot of issues that are unresolved in WTO, lot of negotiations that are unresolved. The Doha development agenda is pending. The agricultural what you call related measures are pending. The investment settlement dispute, basically the trade settlement dispute, the appellate body of the WTO, these issues and reforms in the WTO are long pending. Issues related to fisheries, issues related to e-commerce, these are all issues that are already pending in WTO. Why are we talking about a new agenda? India strongly feels that anything related to investment across the world comes under the domain of IMF. Let that body decide to things related to that. And as regards issues related to investment in the perspective of trade, we already have TRIMS in place. We already have the mode 3 related to FDI in the GATS also. So there is no need in any ways for any kind of investment agreement. So that is the reason why India is not a party to this particular agreement. Not even in the discussions part. India is not even participating in the discussions part. Okay. If you are preparing for UPSC examination, if you want any assistance in your UPSC examination, you can please call up on the numbers given on the view file. Our counselors will connect to you directly. And I am Major Sps Oberoi, one of the teaching faculties and mentors at Ekam Academy. If you are wanting to get a personal counseling session with me, you can also make a request to that effect on the phone call. The counselors will immediately connect you to me. And also, please do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such videos on topics related to UPSC and other competitive examinations. Thank you. I am Major Sps Oberoi, one of the lead faculties and chief instructor at Ekam IS Academy, and also I am one of the chief mentors for mentoring the students preparing for UPSC. I have decided to start this series of important news coverage on the daily basis, where every day I will pick up 3 to 4 important news that have appeared in the newspaper that day, and I will try to post them before 12 o'clock every day. The target is before 12 noon. The important current affairs of that particular day shall be there on YouTube for you. So please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.